Hello again my friends, it's 2014, the year Destiny finally launches. The exact date, September 9th. It's sure to be an agonising wait for fans who've been following Destiny's progress from the start. But fret not, the beta arrives this summer, an event that Bungie is treating like a full product launch and a chance for players who've secured a beta access code to get some serious hands-on time with the game. The countdown to Destiny begins right here, and what better way to kick off 2014 than with a Destiny video jam-packed with tantalising gameplay details. Throughout December, Game Informer unleashed a month-long torrent of Destiny info. They were fortunate enough to be the first people outside of Bungie Studios to play Destiny. This video is a comprehensive roundup of all that tasty info. I've missed you my friends. It's time once again to talk about Destiny. Destiny is a first-person shooter with an emphasis on upgrading and customizing your Guardian. You'll spend a lot of time working to acquire new weapons and armor, both of which have their own short upgrade trees. The longer you use a specific item, the more powerful it becomes. With each new kill in Destiny, your XP counter increases, and all your currently equipped gear, including your focus, moves a step closer to the next level. And no matter what Guardian class you choose, you can use every type of gun. According to Game Informer, both your weapons and armour are colour coordinated into 4 tiers. White for basic gear, green for common gear, purple for superior gear, and gold for those super rare exotic items. Bungie has yet to reveal examples of basic and common gear, but the Duke Mark .44 is an example of a superior hand cannon, and the Thunderlord is an example of an exotic machine gun. Players can only equip one exotic weapon and one exotic armor piece at any given time, but you can carry as many as you like and switch between them whenever you want. Exotic gear is game changing in its power and has the ability to drastically alter your playstyle. For example, you may find an exotic helmet that dramatically reduces all headshot damage you receive. Game Informer also revealed the perks and special abilities of 3 exotic weapons. First up, Red Death. This deadly pulse rifle offers a range of perks that trigger more frequently during competitive multiplayer. One of its upgrades includes the ability to regenerate health at an increased rate. According to Game Informer, Red Death can inflict some serious damage on any foe that gets in its way. It looks as though Red Death is ideal for all you competitive multiplayer lovers. Next up is Closing Time. This is a sniper rifle that campers will absolutely adore. Whenever you zoom in, your entire body becomes camouflaged. And get this, you can shoot ammo pickups to collect them, no more running around the map, so you can hole up in a concealed location and cause some serious pain to the opposing team. But if your location is eventually found, expect no mercy. No one likes a hardcore camper. And finally we have Gjallarhorn. According to Game Informer, this weapon is ideal for titans specialising in zone control. This weapon shoots out rockets with a special little surprise. Sentries deploy at the point of the rocket's impact to devastate foes that pass nearby. As you can see, exotic gear is deadly. Any Guardian wielding such items will be a force to be reckoned with. Amassing a lethal arsenal of exotic armour and weapons is sure to be a part of every player's agenda. But how will you actually acquire new gear? Well, there are numerous ways to do so. Bungie has revealed that some gear can only be won during rounds of competitive multiplayer, so if you're determined to collect every weapon, you'll need to take down your fellow Guardians, which is great news for multiplayer diehards. Some gear you'll be able to purchase from vendors in the last safe city on Earth. The currency you'll need to purchase items is called Glimmer. Glimmer is a rare energy-based substance left over from humanity's golden age. Its neon blue glow makes it impossible to miss. Some gear you'll pick up on your adventures throughout the solar system, making your way through the shattered ruins of humanity's once great civilization. And of course, some gear you'll find in loot drops. In old Russia, inside the crumbling wall of the Cosmodrome, a dangerous fallen clan known as the House of Devils has set up camp. If you dare venture into this enemy stronghold, chances are you'll encounter Rix's Archonslayer, a formidable fallen soldier who many believe rules the House of Devils. If you have the means to take down this powerful foe, you'll be rewarded with a loot drop. In this case, an exotic heavy machine gun called Thunderlord. Now, Bungie wants you to care about loot drops, so you'll see a lower frequency of loot drops in Destiny than you would say in a typical RPG game. But when a loot drop does occur, it will often yield valuable items, weapons and gear that you won't just instantly discard. And each Guardian will have their own private loot stream. This benefits the player in 2 ways. Firstly, no one else can steal your hard-earned gear. Your loot is yours and yours alone. And secondly, each loot drop is affected by the player's current stats. For example, higher level guardians will not receive the same loot as lower level guardians. Again, this means that each loot drop will be meaningful for each individual player. A veteran guardian won't be lumbered with ineffectual armor and weapons that they simply have no use for. Now, here's an element of Destiny that really excites me. There'll be many moments in the game when you're exploring an open world landscape. You may encounter a small squad of fallen soldiers scavenging in the ruins of half-buried tanks and old ramshackle buildings. You could, if you so desired, slip by unnoticed, or you can get in their faces and mess them up, hurl a grenade into their midst and clean up the remaining survivors with well-aimed bursts from your pulse rifle before dancing a merry jig on their corpses. But not every enemy encounter will go your way, not by a long shot. There'll be times on your adventures when you'll come across enemies that are beyond your skill level. Your bullets simply won't make a dent in their armor. You can stubbornly fight on and be crushed in the process, or you can beat a hasty retreat and come back at a later date when your own guardian is more powerful. Bungie has openly admitted that you'll encounter many activities in Destiny where it's not immediately apparent what you need to do, and in fact, you're going to fail. And as crazy as this may sound, this is one of the aspects of Destiny I'm most excited about. Bungie has created a AAA first-person shooter with balls, a game that's not afraid to punish unwary travellers. Like I mentioned before, there'll be enemies in Destiny too powerful for low-level guardians to defeat, areas of the world too dangerous to tread, and activities that require special gear and fully leveled focuses before you stand any kind of chance of victory. Bungie calls these hardcore elements aspirational goals. Long after you've completed Destiny's main story, there will be numerous activities for high-level guardians to try and conquer. Activities you simply wouldn't have been able to compete against as a fresh-faced guardian. Remember, Bungie wants you to keep coming back for more, and this seems like the perfect lure for battle-hardened guardians. Now, let's move on to Destiny's controller configuration. The D-pad controls your guardian's gestures. Up to wave, right to point, down to dance, and left to salute. It's worth noting that Bungie may very well change these gestures before the game launches. I'm sure the feedback they received during the beta will influence which gestures make it into the final build of the game and which gestures will be left on the cutting room floor. Personally, I hope they keep dancing in the game. It's my sincerest wish to gather as many of you guys as I can in one of Destiny's public locations and have a mass dance party, preferably on the moon. Now, you need to tap the triangle button to switch between your primary and secondary weapon, and you need to hold down the triangle button to switch to your heavy weapon. Not only is this an efficient and easy way to cycle through all three weapon slots, it also gives the player a sense of empowerment. Holding down the button to bring out your big guns is sure to feel pretty damn sweet. The circle button is for crouching, which means that yes, teabagging will happen in Destiny, and if you press the circle button while running, you'll perform a slide, an invaluable way to quickly tuck up behind some cover when the shit hits the fan. To jump, you tap the X button, and you tap it again while you're in midair to trigger your focus's special movement mode. For example, gliding, double jump, and even short range teleport. These different methods of vertical movement will give players yet another way to mould their ideal guardian, and is sure to create some very interesting moments during competitive multiplayer. To reload your weapon, you tap the square button. The options button opens your inventory. Use the right stick to look and the left stick to move. If you click the left stick, you sprint. Now, Bungie has hinted that it will also use the PS4's touchpad. How exactly the studio intends to integrate this into the game is unknown. Perhaps it could be used for inventory and map navigation, or perhaps directional swipes of the touchpad will prompt your ghost into specific actions. For example, an upward swipe could activate the ghost's torch mode, lighting darkened corridors. I've played and completed Killzone Shadowfall for the PS4, and it uses the touchpad in exactly this way. Directional swipes of the touchpad causes your hovering AI companion, known as Owl, to perform certain actions, like throwing up a protective shield or stunning enemies with an incapacitating electric shock. It took a while to get used to, but actually works quite well when you're accustomed to it, and the touchpad effectively adds 4 extra buttons to your controller. Bungie also hinted that it could utilise Xbox One's Kinect in some way. I guess we'll know more for sure in the coming months. Now let's look at what the trigger and bumper buttons do. The left trigger brings up your iron sights, available on all weapons. The left bumper throws a grenade distinct to your focus, for example a heat-seeking grenade that homes in on your targets. After you throw the grenade, you need to wait for a quick timer meter on the bottom left of your screen to fill before you can throw another. The right bumper executes a quick melee attack that is different for each focus. The right trigger shoots your weapon. And finally, when you hold down both bumpers, your Guardian unleashes their super, which can take the form of a lethal offensive attack, a buff, a healing ability, or some other action which can turn the tide of a fight. Every class and focus has its own special grenades, supers, bonuses and upgrades, and it's this aspect of Destiny that sets it apart from other shooters and helps lend a pleasing variety to the visual style and gameplay of any given fight. And just in case you were wondering, the exact same button configuration applies for the Xbox One, Xbox 360 and PS3 controllers. So then, now that you know how to kill the bad guys, it's time to talk about where you'll kill the bad guys. The solar system is your celestial playground, a collection of planets on which you'll explore the shattered remains of our once great civilization. Unsurprisingly, many of you guys have asked me how exactly you'll navigate a game built on such a vast scale. According to Game Informer, you can pull up a screen-filling map littered with icons for story missions, cooperative strikes, competitive matches and other as yet unrevealed activities. So if you're in the mood to tackle one particular playstyle, this map gives you instant access and your personal spaceship zooms out of orbit to reach your chosen destination. Of course, you can choose to simply lose yourself in Destiny's campaign, tackling story missions, enjoying the freedom of open world exploration and the random missions you'll encounter while doing so. But if you want your time to be a little more structured, you'll bring up the map and see what kind of activity takes your fancy. As mentioned before, some of the content you'll find on the map is aspirational. In other words, activities and locations that require powerful gear and heavily leveled focuses if you are to stand any chance of success. Included in that mix are highly challenging raids and cooperative story missions meant to be tackled by organised groups of Guardians against seemingly insurmountable odds. These are activities that will push you harder and further than you're ready for at the beginning or even the mid-level of the game. So when you get to the end of the story, there are multiple places to spend time with your high-level characters. Now, another topic I'm frequently asked about is factions. Specifically, what purpose do factions serve? Bungie has remained fairly tight-lipped about the role factions will play in Destiny's universe. So far, we know their names: New Monarchy, Dead Orbit, Seven Seraphs, Osiris, Future War Cult, and the fact that you can customize your gear with your chosen faction emblems. Let's have a look at a few examples of this. Here's the Conduit F3, a fusion rifle with the Future War Cult emblem etched into the barrel. And here's a female warlock wielding that very same gun. And if you look closely, you can also see the Future War Cult emblem on the side of her helmet. And just in case you were wondering, here's what the Conduit F3 looks like in action. It was built using alien technology. It has powerful burst fire that can take out multiple targets at once and has a charging mechanism. Any alien scumbag caught in its line of fire is going to be pretty dead pretty quick. LOL. And yes, you can even decorate your personal spaceship with your chosen faction emblem. In this case, it's Dead Orbit. So it's safe to assume that factions must play a significant role in Destiny's universe. And thankfully, Game Informer sheds a little more light on this topic. Within Destiny's fiction, Guardians fight against one another in support of various competing factions in the city, and battles play out in contested areas across the solar system. Bungie told Game Informer that Guardians are employed by these factions. Apparently, the factions were integral to forming the city. They also pushed Guardians out into the universe and helped them to reclaim these lost settlements. So it appears that factions are tied into Destiny's competitive multiplayer. They explain why Guardians fight one another in arenas across the solar system. This fascinating glimpse into the fiction of Destiny's factions shows that Bungie wants to tie every aspect of the game into its story. Competitive multiplayer isn't simply a standalone game mode. It has its own story that is seamlessly integrated into Destiny's universe, and Bungie promises we'll better understand how factions work when the beta launches. And that's not all Bungie has planned for you in 2014. In Bungie's last weekly update of 2013, Deej made 3 promises of what you can expect from the studio in the new year, and here they are. Promise number 1, we'll introduce you to the director and show you what will be on the menu in our brave new world. Promise number 2, our designers will unveil the multiplayer details that you've been craving and shed some more light on the rest of those activities for every mood that we've been teasing. Promise number 3, your adventure will begin. You'll build your very own Guardian and send it into the wild. You'll venture beyond the moon and dig deep into lost academies choked with jungle and forgotten cities buried in the sand. Pretty exciting stuff, right? And as usual, Bungie raises more questions than it answers. Just who or what is the director? How in-depth will Bungie's multiplayer reveal be? And what can we expect to find within the Lost Academies? Well, we can only be sure of one thing. We'll find out this year. And personally, I can't chuffing wait. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. If we can get this video to a record-breaking 3,000 likes, that would be beyond awesome and show me that you guys are ready for 2014, the year that Destiny finally launches. Subscribe for more Destiny news, and thanks for watching, you beautiful bastards. Here comes the first boom of 2014. Hello again, my friends. I'm so glad you made it beyond the boom. So during my video, you heard what Bungie has planned for 2014, and now it's my turn to let you guys know what I have planned for this year. Destiny news. A whole chuff load of Destiny news. Now, I'm seriously convinced that Destiny will become one of the greatest game franchises in history. The more I read about the game, the more I believe this to be the case. I know this sounds utterly ridiculous, seeing as the game is still 9 months from release, but I've been playing video games religiously for over 25 years, and I've not felt the same way about any other game. But why is that? Well, maybe it's because we've just entered a new era of gaming where technology can truly match the vision, scale and scope of ambitious and talented teams like Bungie. Maybe it's because Bungie has been working on this game for over 6 years with a staggering staff of 500 people, all of whom are seriously gifted, passionate and dedicated to the craft of making games. Maybe it's because Destiny has been built with groundbreaking tech, built to last a decade and beyond, and backed by a publisher with an impressive track record. And maybe it's because I'm a die-hard Bungie fan. All I know is that I haven't been this excited about a game since Combat Evolved, and we all know how that played out. And that, my friends, is why I'm going to keep you updated with all the latest Destiny news up until the launch of the game and beyond, because I know you feel the buzz too. I know you're as excited as I am. My channel has just passed 4.5 million views. My sub count is edging closer to 40k. Over 13,000 of you beautiful bastards now follow me on Twitter, and it's because you're as keen as I am to get your fill of Destiny news. So keep showing me love and I'll show it right back, you delightful creatures. Thank you so much for your support. 2014 is gonna be fucking epic. I'm just glad you're along for the ride. And one last thing before I go. There's a beta access code hidden in this video. You'll need to be lightning quick to claim it, as these things go super fast. Good luck, my friends. And as always, until next time, Guardians.